Well, hello and welcome to the Chillies garden tour, and I'm just going to be running you through everything that's growing and how it's doing. Some stuff I've harvested and some stuff is still growing as it was. Now the potatoes are still growing as it was. I'm sort of leaving them to do their own thing now until they are ready to harvest, but at the moment they're just doing good, plodding along. I see a few spots and a few little brown bits on them, but just leaving them be to do their own thing. The onions are doing good, they're still flowering. These I'm just waiting to go to seed, and then I'll collect the seed at the end of the growing season. This giant flower is still doing good as well. It's absolutely massive. But yeah, just letting them do their own thing. We've got the runner beans here. Runner beans are starting to flower. Got some lovely red flowers on them, which I'm guessing turns into the runner bean. I've actually never grown runner beans before. We've got cucumber plant down here, which is doing okay. It was just a little bit of a, stick it there and see what happens type thing. But yeah, it's all doing good over here. Well, I'm pretty sure it's coming to the end of these strawberries now. I'm not really harvesting that much. I had a couple off it the other day, but I think the majority are done. But this was the first year of putting these in, so hopefully next year we'll have a bit of a better harvest off of them, and they might produce a couple new plants this year that we can let root down in there. So yeah, they're doing all right. We've had a few nice strawberries off of them this year anyway, so hopefully next year will be better. Well, the Brussels sprout is doing really well. That's yeah, the leaves are looking amazing on that, and it is doing great. Once the weather cooled down quite a bit, I'll go ahead and pop that in the polytunnel. That's the beauty of being able to grow it in a pot rather than in the ground, is you can move it around as the weather gets cooler. I put in some radishes in here. I did have a few. There's like a picture on screen now of some of the little bunch of them. It's a bit hard to grow them at this time of year because of the heat. The heat basically just makes them bolt straight away, so they're more of a early crop and a late crop season wise when the weather starts to cool or is cool. The elephant garlic isn't doing so well again, but I'm just leaving it, and then at the end I'll just pull it up and see what I've got, if anything. But I've got these potatoes have obviously been chopped down from the last video, and they are going to be harvested soon. They're in the ground still. Apparently if you chop the tops off and then leave them in the ground, they swell, so they get bigger than what they are when you chop the tops off. So that's what I've done there. I've left them in the ground, and we didn't need them straight away, so I thought, well, I might as well harvest them later on. This is poplar trees. Not that that's vegetable growing, but it's something that I'm doing. So I'm growing some poplar trees. These can be turned into bushes, so you just trim them at the tops and let them branch out, turn into almost like a little bush, or you can leave them to grow into bigger trees, and these grow extremely quickly, really quickly. So yeah. Now surprisingly, I don't know how, if I'm being perfectly honest, but the blueberries have got little I don't know, flowers on them, which I'm guessing is where the blueberries come from. It looks as though this one, oh no, I don't know whether the flowers have just dropped off on this one. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't know whether we're going to get any blueberries off these. I guess I'll just have to wait and see. Be nice if I did, but yeah, like I said, we'll just wait and see what happens. There was something that I found really quite impressive at the back here, and that is I just put in a few shallots as a bit of an experimental thing, as I didn't really know whether they would work or not, and they're in very shallow soil. But I did pull some up the other day, a little clump, and we have got a few small shallots which we can use in our cooking, which is just brilliant. So yeah, that's something that I didn't think was going to work out, and they kind of did work out. They're not absolutely massive, but they're most certainly a little clump of shallots. So yeah, rather chuffed with that. I'm gonna take them indoors. This bed here, the expansion bed as I call it, because it was a bit of an expansion, as you know. We've got the peppers in, and the peppers, I've actually seen a few little flowery bits where the peppers do come out of. So I'm just hoping and letting them grow as they are. Now the chickens like it in here. They do like to scrap around, find all the bugs and things. So yeah, they have made a bit of a disturbance on the bed, but they are helping a little bit with weed control, so that's good. But other than that, yeah, they're a bit of a pain in here. Once these start to actually create the peppers on them, if they do, that is, because being outside, there's not so much heat at the moment. It's not a really hot summer this year, so it's yeah, it's gonna be quite difficult for these guys to pull it off, I think, and be able to get them peppers out soon enough to the point where they can, you know, produce them before they then finish the end of the season. But I'm just gonna have to see whether they can do it or not. There's not really much I can do if it starts to get cold, so just gonna have to let them be. But once they do start to have something grow on them, I'm gonna put some kind of netting over them, because I don't want the chickens to find a nice delicious meal on the plant, which is meant to be ours. Well, the outdoor tomatoes aren't doing too bad. The indoor, well, the polytunnel ones are doing better, but these ones are actually pretty good for being outside. And like I said, it's not the warmest of summers, so it's we've had quite a lot of rainfall recently as well, which is not so good for outdoor tomatoes, because rain on the leaves can obviously promote disease, and especially blight. And you don't want to get early blight. Well, when I say early blight early in the season, because if you get blight early in the season, then potentially the fruits won't ripen. So hopefully there won't be much more rain and we'll get a little bit of warmth, but who knows, I've just got to see. But again, if these plants are wasted, it's not too bad, because we do have quite a few in the polytunnel, so we should be good. But yeah, there is some on here, some beautiful vines actually. It'd just be nice to see them ripen up. The potatoes are once again, more potatoes. There's a bit of yellowing going on, a bit of wildness going on. These potatoes have just gone everywhere. There's no longer a path down here, which there used to be. It's just potato plants. So yeah, well, I'm just basically, once these start to die off is when I'll harvest them. But for now, I'm just going to let them do their own thing. If it doesn't rain for a while, I do go ahead and give them some water every couple of days. But if it's raining, obviously I just let the nature do its own thing. But yeah, they're constantly growing. You can see there's a little bit of yellowing on the first few leaves which are coming out, which means that they're just growing even more. But hopefully they're growing the potatoes as well as the plant. But who knows, we'll have to see once we dig them up. Okay, so coming to have a look at the little overload plant bed, and that's what I sort of call it, because we had too many plants to put everywhere else at the time. So we made this little bed just to stick every, you know, excess plant we had into here. And we've got a mixture of everything. We have some beetroot, and the beetroot is actually doing really well in here. There's 4 in particular here which are doing really good. The main ones aren't doing so good because they've got a bit of runoff, so the water just runs off of them, meaning that they don't get access to as much water. Here, I'm not entirely sure what this is, to be perfectly honest. I can't remember whether it's I'm not entirely sure what it is. Might be a cabbage, that one. This one might be a cabbage. We got a baby broccoli in here. It is absolutely tiny, and I'm hoping that gets bigger. If not, that's just going to be a mouthful. Quite literally, just a mouthful. We've also got some more pepper plants, so hopefully they'll do all right. Again, it's all a little bit sort of compacted in there. Lots of plants in one space. I've got some celery in here, which personally I think is doing absolutely fantastically. I'm looking forward to eating that. Do like a good bit of celery. Never tried homegrown celery though, and obviously homegrown stuff always tastes different. So the shop bought stuff usually a lot better. We got leeks here. Leeks, yeah, they're doing alright as well. Happy days. Well, I don't know if you can see me through all this sweet corn, but I tell you what, this sweet corn has outgrown me. Come, look, take a look at this. I stand next to this sweet corn here in this bed, and this one is literally higher than me. I can see the pollen. Oh my God, that is awesome. Yo, look at this. Like that, yeah, take a look at this. See all that coming off of there? Maybe if I slow-mo it. Anyway, the pollen is coming off of there and I can actually see it, which is just amazing. Wow, it's cool. Anyway, after discovering how the pollination works, which is kind of interesting, you can actually see the pollen coming off and just sort of trickling down, which is absolutely awesome. But yeah, I'm hoping to get some nice corn on the cobs here. I love a good juicy corn on the cob, boiled and then rolled in butter and just eat it like an animal. It's not, yeah. I just can't wait. It'd be so good. But these sweet corns have done, you know, I can't believe how well they've grown. Yeah, they're doing really good. I was a little bit concerned when the first one was about that high. But now that they've grown taller than me, it's, yeah, a bit reassuring. I thought I'd bought like a mini corn on the cobs, but thankfully not. Also, underneath all these corn on the cobs plants, sweet corn plants, we have a cucumber plant, and I'm letting this do its own thing. I'm just, you know, it's actually rooting in, I think, more than one spot maybe, I'm not sure, but we've got a cucumber laying on the ground here, and yeah, that's growing. So cucumbers are growing underneath the sweet corn. So there's a little tip for you: put your cucumbers under your sweet corn and just let them grow on the floor. There's nothing wrong with it, and they're actually doing okay. Especially if you've got a couple of leftover cucumbers, you know, that's a way to use them. Alright, so looking in the polytunnel at the tomatoes, these again are still doing great. We're actually seeing some colour change now. So they're going from green to obviously the good old red tomatoes that we're used to. And yeah, just constantly coming in here still and picking bits off. It's always trying to grow new bits. That's just what they do. So constantly taking those off. But yeah, we do have some red ones. Here is one of the red ones. I guess I could pick it just to show you. Here's one of the red tomatoes. And a perfect little thing. They're quite long, these tomatoes, and these ones were grown from a shop bought tomato. So we literally just squeezed some of the seeds into the soil in a pot, and then they just all come up, literally loads of them, hundreds of tomato plants. And so then we transplanted and planted them into here, and this is what we've gotten. We've gotten 3 ones at the back though, which I got from seed packets, which are obviously different to these ones. Now these ones don't taste amazing, but hopefully the ones at the back will taste a bit better. But these are good in salads. Okay, so this is where the garlic was, and if you can remember, I harvested that. I'm pretty sure I harvested that last month in the last garden tour. If I didn't, here's some footage of it. But this is now beetroot. I've gone ahead and I actually put a little bit of homemade compost in on the top, just a very thin layer, probably about maybe 1.5 centimeters just on the top. It wasn't necessary, but I thought I would. And yeah, the beetroot is doing good. This went in probably, I would say, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. And it's got nice steady growth, and hopefully in here it will grow so that I can harvest it later on in the growing season. So we're looking at the end of September, maybe October. But yeah, this is looking lovely jubbly. Got a couple of carrots here as well that I put in there when the garlic was in, and I transplanted them because I was thinning them out, and I thought, well, I'll just put one in and see. So I actually put 3 in, and 2 of them are done all right, and I'm just letting them do their own thing now, and then I'll pluck them out of the ground whenever I feel peckish. This is purple sprouting broccoli here, ready for the winter, so that we can enjoy broccoli during the winter months. And well, there's 2 rows here of purple sprouting broccoli. Just here, 1, 2, 3 plants, and then 3 at the back. And they've got to be roughly around about 60 centimeters apart. It's good to space them quite far apart, especially in the winter months, because in the winter months you don't get as much sun as in the summer. So you've got to sort of, if you space them apart, they don't compete so much. I've gone ahead and put a few radishes, multi-sown radishes, in between the purple sprouting broccoli as sort of like another crop before the broccoli gets too big and shade the ground below. So yeah, that's sort of that. And they were sown in small modular trays and then just plucked out, popped them in the ground and watered them in. So yeah. Also, we harvested the onions from out of here. You probably know that the onions were here. They got harvested. Here's a little bit of footage of that. So yeah, that's what's gone in as a replacement there. And just to move on right here, we have the chilies. Chilies are here. We've got the world's hottest chili here, which is the Carolina Reaper. Still got the cane chilies, obviously, they're still doing all right. Them ones haven't got chilies on them yet. The ones in the pots, however, are starting to get the chilies on them. The Carolina Reapers aren't quite yet got any chilies on them, but they are a long season crop, or long season plant, vegetable. Is it vegetable? I don't even know what chili is. Here are the humongous cucumber plants. These are ridiculous. The leaves on this are the size of dinner plates, which is kind of crazy. And the cucumber down there, which I'll show you in a second, is absolutely massive, really, for what it is. I'll definitely be growing plenty more cucumbers in the polytunnel next year, rather than growing them outside. But yeah, it's looking good. Oh yeah, and the normal peppers are looking good as well. They're starting to get a few flowers on them. Okay, so coming in at this bed, taking a look, we've got the lettuce here. Now the lettuce are doing good. We need to go ahead and have a salad soon because they need harvesting, the outer leaves do. So then that encourages the inner leaves to grow bigger. We actually have this seed tray on the top, and this has got all our seedlings in it. That's got a couple of different types of radish in it. It's got some beetroot in it, which need to go in soon. I'm not sure where I'm going to put that just yet. We've got the spinach in the back there, and also some more lettuce to go ahead and replace these ones once these ones have finished up. I did try and put some lettuce in here. However, I don't know whether I put a little bit too much chicken manure in and possibly burnt the roots, because they are very slow in developing. They've been in there for a very long time, but I'll just have to see about that. I can always remove some stuff if I need to. The seeds from the radishes are doing alright. I'm just leaving them to do their own thing. There's plenty of seed pods on there, so I'm probably going to have a nice tub of radish seeds ready to put in next year. We've got the leeks down here, look. The leeks are doing alright, and they need to be harvested soon actually. They need to be harvested very soon. In fact, we might pull one out. I'm not really too sure. I guess you just yank it. That's how you do it. I put these in extremely deep. Oh, that baby leek. The top is huge. Oh my god. Top is massive, but there you go. I've got a lovely white stem there, ready to be used. Ready to be used in the pasta. So, happy days. Lovely. It looks alright. Hopefully it tastes alright. Okay, so coming in and taking a look at the melon plant. This is doing alright. I mean, like I said, I bought it from a garden centre in the hopes of just growing a melon. I didn't really know anything about it or anything. I just bought it and thought, well, I like melons. And yeah, it's growing big. I chopped the top of it recently off just because I didn't know whether, you know, it might take a long time to sort of grow. So I thought, well, maybe I'll chop the top off and then it'll put more energy into all these little melons that it's got. So I'm just going to have to see whether we get one off of it this year or not. However, if we don't, I'll definitely be looking into growing them next year. Well, the carrots under the cover, thought I'd just quickly update you on these. They are doing pretty well. There's a little bit of bindweed coming this bed, which is not so good. But yeah, hopefully I can get on top of that and sort out the bindweed problem, or hopefully it doesn't become that big of a problem. But it is a little bit of annoying when trying to, you know, because I have to keep lifting this up and then pulling it out, and I can't disturb the ground too much because it will disturb the carrots. So yeah, but they're growing, they're doing pretty well. Yeah, we'll just have to see what we can get out of these. I'm hoping for a bit bigger carrots than over there when I harvested them over there. But yeah, happy days. That is the carrots under the cover. Well, last but not least, let's just take a quick look at the raspberries, and there's some other type of plants growing in there as well. They need to be gone. But yeah, the raspberries are looking good. They're growing nice and tall, and in fact this raspberry plant over here has already got some little raspberries on the top. Obviously they're not red yet, but it won't take too long until hopefully they're ready to eat. Now I will have to put some kind of cover over these, some kind of netting or something, just to stop the birds and that from getting them. But yeah, they're looking pretty goddamn good. Definitely full of life, lots of green. So yeah, happy days. I was a little bit concerned about these at the start of the season because they were a bit yellow and God knows what else, but now they're looking good. So nice. Well, there we are. We'll finish it off where we started it. That is July's garden tour. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and hopefully the next time I see you for a garden tour, we will have a little bit more stuff harvested, because it is now that time of year when stuff is just, you know, it's coming to their final times and starting to become ready to harvest. So keep enjoying the stuff you're growing, if you are growing stuff on the plates. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Also, don't forget to watch the videos on the screen right now. Goodbye.